Devastating floods on the Nepal-Tibet border have killed at least 359 people, Nepali police said. This on the 27th of August, a day after the disaster along the Himalayan nation's border with Tibet. The visuals show the flood wave entering Nepal's Bhotekoshi with a massive surge of water rushing through the mountainous terrain. The force of the floodwater quickly turns into a terrifying scene of destruction as water and debris tear through the hills. The terrifying flood destruction is visible across large parts of the affected region. Entire stretches in Nuvakot district are submerged under floodwaters, with buildings in low-lying areas taking the brunt of the surge. Low-lying structures are destroyed as the water levels rise, while a village in Rasua district is swept away by the flood. Northern Nepal has been left facing widespread destruction, with homes, roads and other infrastructure damaged or washed away. The sheer force of the flood also destroys an entire dam, underlining the extreme power of the water. The aftermath shows a landscape covered with mud, debris and flood water. People are seen running away from the gushing water, trying to escape as the flood surge moves through populated areas. Trucks and buses are also swept along by the raging current, showing how little the vehicles can withstand the force of the flood. As the disaster unfolds, India has sent 37.5 tons of humanitarian assistance and disaster relief material to Nepal. The material is intended to support the country's emergency response as rescue operations continue. Nepali authorities are carrying out rescue operations across the affected areas. K9 teams have also joined the search efforts, helping rescuers look for people who may be trapped under debris. The floodwaters have moved massive boulders with sheer force, while people and entire structures have been swept away in the district. Floodwaters are seen swallowing villages and houses, leaving behind a trail of mud and debris. Aerial footage shows the full scale of the destruction following the glacial outburst. The water has inundated mountain gorges, while mud torrents have swept away infrastructure, vehicles and other objects in their path. Close-up footage captures some of the most terrifying moments of the flood. As the water surges through affected areas, people are also seen wading through floodwaters to retrieve LPG cylinders and other essential items from the debris. Visuals from the Betravati Bazaar in Nepal's Rasua show the extent of the destruction. The Nepali army is working to rescue people stranded by the flood, including a young man who was stuck on a terrace as floodwaters surrounded the area. People are seen running to save their lives as flash floods move through the region. Some people remain trapped under debris following the disaster, while families across the affected areas deal with the loss and destruction. Visuals also show the severe flooding before the floods hit the border checkpoint, giving a glimpse of how quickly conditions deteriorated. The devastation has left families displaced and communities cut off. And among the most devastating images are mud-covered LPG cylinders and people retrieving fish from the floodwaters. The Nepali army continues its rescue efforts as emergency teams try to reach those still stranded. The flash floods have swept through villages and roads in Rasua, while terrifying footage shows the seconds before workers were swept away by the floodwaters. Aerial images reveal the widespread destruction across northern Nepal. The Bhotekoshi surge has left entire areas flooded, with massive flooding reported across Nepal as authorities remain on high alert. Construction workers are seen running to save their lives as floodwaters advance, and the damage has also extended to Nepal's hydropower sector, with floodwaters sweeping through hydropower projects. The scale of the destruction remains visible across villages, roads, buildings and critical infrastructure as rescue teams continue working to reach those affected by the disaster. Acharya Yeshi Funsok, former Deputy Speaker, Tibetan Parliament, in exile and senior advisor, Bharat-Tibet Sahyog Manch is with us. Namita Sharma, senior journalist, also joins us on the show. Prashant Mishra, senior journalist from Kathmandu, also joins us on the program to talk more about this. Mr. Mishra, I'll begin with you. Sir, what visuals we are seeing at this point in time have sent chills down our spines. In fact, the whole world is talking about what's happened in Nepal. What is the situation on ground at this point in time? And the one thing everybody is perhaps intending to know right now is, how did this happen? Why did this happen?
Thank you, Newsx, for this time, for this opportunity. Actually, No one knows how this happened because as we are listening right now that it's a Nepal water bomb or something else, but it's not water bomb. It's nature bomb. We can say it as a nature bomb. No one knows because this is not any planned or anything like that. So as we are in this phase right now, as we are talking, this is all by nature. No one were known about this because the person who were on duty to save people, they are also missing right now. So for now exact we don't know the reason, but what we know is it's all because of climate change, or as we discuss all the time as well, it's because of global warming. So we don't have exact reason, it's under investigation. We will get to know very soon about this.
Okay. What can you tell us about, Mr. Mishra? What can you tell us about the people who are still missing? What are the numbers like? From what we have just shared with our viewers, that there are 359 people who are dead, but there are lots more that are missing. Can you verify these numbers or perhaps even correct them?
Sure, the they toll from the catastrophic Himalayan flash flood on Thursday evening, as we are talking right now, has jumped sharply to 359 to 360, while nearly 1400 are missing. And I think this number is going to be more. More than 1400 people are missing. And for today, if, this can look like a sure number, but this 1400 is also not sure number. With this 359 is also a not sure number, because as investigation search operations are going on, this number are increasing rapidly. So this I don't know where this 359 go and where it will stay, as like this is the final number, we don't know yet. And this number are increasing that rapidly that we are shocked. Like as we all know, there are hundreds of tourists, hundreds of Indian nationals who were on that route, who were on that place, who are still missing. We have around 100 of security officials are missing. So this number are not steady for now. These are changing rapidly. We have gone as 359 body have been recovered across 8 districts as of Thursday. Don't know what is going on for now. Government or we can say security personnel have found around 132 bodies from Chitwan area, 82 from Nawalparasi East, 33 from Dading, 30 from Gorkha, 28 from Nuwakot, Tanahu, 22 from Tanahu, and 17 from Raswa, and 15 from Nawalparasi East. So this number is massive. At least 826 people are officially missing on Nepali side only. From where we
Sharma, we are learning that 1,300 people could be missing, and in fact, there are more alerts coming in that there could be similar events, major lake breaches near the Nepal-China border, which could be underway. What are the authorities doing at this point in time, ma'am, to prevent this massive, massive catastrophe from wreaking havoc?
Hello to you and your viewers. Well, actually, as the numbers you were sharing and Prashantji was sharing, every minute the numbers are more, and people are at people are still waking up from the shock and not knowing how far and to what extent the numbers will reach. Most of these areas cover both rural area and urban area. As the Bhotekoshi traverses along its course, it has swept away infrastructure, it has swept away the vehicles that were plying in the infrastructure, it has swept away buildings along the sides, schools, buses, and all that, you see. So the numbers that we are seeing, I think at the moment, is just very meager. The numbers will probably increase as the days go by. When you ask what the government is doing, I think this government has taken steps immediately, both by utilizing the government resources and also requesting the private sector. So not only the government helicopters, but also the private sector helicopters have been mobilized. And together with that, the Prime Minister requested, and the whole government has actually brought all the oppositions also together. So the whole nation is actually working together to see how this disaster can be controlled as far as possible. Your question was, how can it be stopped? I don't think it can be stopped. It has already created a havoc. The question that keeps on coming in my mind actually is, how does the early warning systems at such situations happen, I think, Nepal has been working on disaster management for some time, and probably the early warning systems are not very sophisticated. But, the exact cause of the flash flood is still not categorically stated in any statements as such, but there are speculations from both scientists, from academics, from scientists, and also from government sources in Nepal and experts from across the world, that this is probably a case where the ice lakes of the glaciers burst, and it's probably a glacial outburst, but it hasn't been proven. The other thing also is, because there were 4.4 Richter tremor in that area, there's also speculation that tremor could probably have added support and caused to the floods to happen. So definitely one thing is, a number of combined things have happened here, you see. Global warming definitely has led to melting of the ice in the Himalayas, and melting of the ice in the Himalayas are very dangerous, you see. So actually in Bhutikosya also in 2025, flood had happened, but this flood of this year is beyond that comprehension. It has damaged a lot. The government is working together with the opposition and private sector, as I said, and friendly nations, particularly India, has come to the support. But what I wanted to bring to the debate that's going on when we are talking about flood is, South Asia in general should now form a network to work together in making sure the early warning systems in our part of the world becomes more savvy and technologically savvy and more effective, so people can at least, even if they cannot prevent disasters like this, at least start working to save lives and resources. And I think for that, because we share
all right,
a
ma'am,
lot
just
of
hold on to that thought. We have some breaking news coming in now. Well, China has issued an alert saying that another major lake breach is loading near the Nepal-China border at this point in time. Now, ma'am, you can continue. This is, of course, something which should worry the authorities in Nepal again. Something like this has obviously not happened in the past, but this is major breaking news coming in.
Because what happens in the waters of one country in this region affects the other, right? So I think at the moment Nepal is undergoing a very, very sad and a very terrifying moment, which cannot be ruled out to spill over to other parts of the region.
This could happen in the other parts of the region as well. This is obviously extremely disturbing. What we're learning is happening in Nepal. This also goes on to show that there is an element of climate change involved here as well. Vishal, if you're there with us. I beg your pardon. Prashant Mishra, are you there with us? All right, some more breaking news coming in. Well, Nepal's Prime Minister Balendra Shah has visited some of the areas worst affected by the flash floods, including Bidura and nearby communities in the Nuwakot district. The Prime Minister is reported to have instructed authorities to provide immediate support to families displaced by the floods, reopen blocked roads and restore damaged infrastructure as quickly as possible. Now, ma'am, a young Prime Minister, and this perhaps could be his biggest challenge in his stint as the Prime Minister.
Actually, the young Prime Minister, yeah, and more or less young government, they have been facing a lot of hurdles since the day they've joined and formed the government. You see, so actually, yes, this is a huge challenge, and they've been last year also there was flood. Then there has been other series of challenges that they have to face, but I think they are trying to put their acts together. And whenever situations like this come, they're trying to take on board the opposition, the private sector. I think that is a strategy that was not taken in the past. So the other thing also is both the prime minister and his cabinet ministers, whoever need to go out, have been going out, and they have been trying to see, assess the situation firsthand, and also try to do the best they can. But to tell you the truth, it's a very daunting thing. And like, we talk a lot about climate change, and particularly in areas like this, where the incident has happened just now, the geography is very fragile, the ecosystem is very fragile. And one thing that we have to look also at, the fact we have to start raising in the international level, is that countries like Nepal are known to have generate oxygen a lot and have are low in carbon emission, but countries like Nepal are getting the brunt of global warming and climate change impact, and which is to a lot caused by the industrialized countries. So discussions on these also need to be brought into surface, and the more I observe all these things, the more I feel early warning systems need to be very sophisticatedly installed in countries like Nepal, because we have high Himal, we have vulnerable geographical areas, ecosystems are vulnerable in these places, and the lives and living conditions of the people are very, very fragile. You see, so if there is an early warning system in place and effectively uh, in place, then at least some major impact could be stopped. I think when the support is pouring in, this kind of discussion also needs to be done on how the industrialized countries can actually take steps in supporting such fragile ecosystems, so that in future such outbursts do not happen. But even while you and I are talking, frankly speaking, there are now estimations coming that we might be facing another such burst, either in minutes or seconds.
Fair enough. We have some breaking news coming in now. All right, 3 bodies have been recovered from the Gandak River in Maharajganj Nichlol area following a rise in the wake of flash floods in Nepal. The bodies are suspected to have been swept up here from the flash flood affected regions of Nepal. SDRF Constable Brijmohan said, and I quote, "We have recovered 3 more bodies so far and handed them over to the administration." Atul, my colleague, joins us on the broadcast to give us more details about this. Atul?
Well, 3 bodies have been recovered from the Gandak River in the Maharajganj district, and what we're given to understand is that at least out of those 3, one has been identified as male, while 2 bodies has been identified as that of female. Now, this is believed to have been swept downstream from the flood-hit region in the neighboring Nepal, is the initial assessment. Now, the SSB team, which spotted the bodies floating in the river during the regular monitoring, they have been able to retrieve those bodies from the heavy currents that was underway in that particular river. And now we are given to understand that the identities of the victim are being established right now, and the bodies are being moved to the district headquarters, mortuary, where Indian authorities are obviously in communication with the officials in Nepal as well in order to trace their families. It is believed that these are Nepali nationals, is the initial assessment is. However, that remains to be finalized yet, but as I mentioned, the SSB officials are in touch with the Nepalese officials out there, and in order to trace their families and get to know more about the identities of these victims. But certainly, 3 bodies confirmed they have been swept away and have been recovered in the Gandak River in Maharajganj district in UP, which has been retrieved by SSB Jawans.
All right, let me also bring in Acharya Yeshi Funsok into this conversation. Acharya Funsuk, I hope you can hear me.
Yes, I'm hearing your voice. Yes.
Sir, appreciate you joining us. This is a massive tragedy which has engulfed Nepal at this point in time. It's obviously very easy to understand that this is all related to climate change. What are your thoughts about what has happened here, sir?
This is unfortunate to blame the climate change. This is not climate change is always depend with the countries in the name of the development during the their building up the dam and all to destructions of the environment in the mountain and hill area. So therefore, the climate is the disaster is happening. Climate, if we will not disturb any environment, these things will never happen. So because of the huge dam constructed by the Chinese government in our Tibet part of the Kirong, so therefore, due to the problems of the entire the mountain at the on the root of the mountain and then the top of the mountain. So therefore, the earthquake was held and happened, and the huge magnitude, the earthquake, the mountain was held down on the dam, and then the dam is naturally it was damaged. Then the water was flashed out both the inside Tibet and in the Nepal, because we have to tell the fact things. We have to talk about the reality things. Do not like a imagination explanation. I heard from the fact from my peoples from Nepal and from the border. They have seen due to that reason this damage was happened, and the innocent people's life has gone in the name of the development, building up the dam for the protections of their own vision. So that reason it was happened.
All right. Prashant is still there with us. Prashant, what do you think is going to be the way ahead in the next few days? Obviously, there is going to be a problem in figuring out and removing the debris to recover survivors or the people who have succumbed. What is going to be the administration's biggest challenge? Because obviously these floods and the standing water is also going to bring about problems and diseases.
Actually, as we are looking after government works, for now we can say thank you to Balendra Shah government, as they have shown activeness in this problem. But this problem need to be solved in a group, not a single. Like Nepal can't solve it alone. This is not impossible. As if Nepal says that it's our problem or we can solve it alone, it can be assured or it can be done in any cost. So for now, from government side, what we need to do is there should be a coordination between Nepal, India, and China on a solution. As we are talking a lot about problem, and right now as being a country or being a representative from Nepal, we are looking right now on the mentality of people and government bureaucrats. They are only focusing on a problem, but for now we need to focus on solution. That let's hope this thing should not be repeated again. This thing should not take lives of any Nepali, any other citizen as well. So as for now, we need to work hard. We need to coordinate with all three countries, India, China, and Nepal should stand together for this. They need to show solidarity, and they need to be together and find out the solution. As what I'm looking is India, Nepal should go on digital real-time data sharing, and same with China as well. So that the situation we faced right now, like we are saying that we were unknown about this, or we were not having any information related to this, or as we are listening after some other things like China did not share information with Nepal. So let's go for digital data sharing, real-time data sharing, so that all three countries, not countries, people of three countries should be safe at all the time, or countries should have time to prepare for these things. So government should
We have
need
some breaking
to
news coming in. I would like to thank all my guests who joined in. Thank you so much. Breaking news coming in. Well, visuals from Nepal floods shows a man trapped in soil as the rescue operations continue. And obviously such visuals have been coming in regularly as a result of a number of survivors emerging after the dust has settled and after the massive storm, the flash flood that came by, passed by. And of course, this is attributable to a number of reasons. We're not going to get into that, but social media is replete with images and videos of survivors trying to come out of their predicament. We'll take a short break on that note. Be right back.